Sacked Met Commissioner Cressida Dick's replacement's bound to be a woman. It's got to be a female, isn't it? I just can't see a man filling her slot. Hello again, sausages. I hope you're all having a great weekend. The weather here in the UK is meh, typically British, but there we go. It's the weekend at least. It's Saturday night. I'm working in an hour or so. Lucky me. Fantastic. I have a great bottle of wine to come home to. Anyway, Jimmy Carr's in the news still. And the reason he's in the news is because the joke he made, the subjective humour, which you can choose to be offended at, is making the rounds on social media and in the news. They're all trying to cancel him now. They've gone from Joe Rogan and it's now Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr, if you don't know who he is, he's a comedian here in the UK. He's got very black humour. It's an acquired taste and he has an awful laugh. Yeah, did it? It's something like that anyway. He hosts a panel show in the UK called, on Channel 4. 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown, I think. I don't watch it because it's basically, I don't agree with the humour, all right? The jokes I don't find funny. It's anti-people me jokes, anti-conservative, Brexit voters, Trump voters, Thatcher wishing politicians on the right dead, shit like that. I don't like it, so I don't watch it, but I don't want it cancelled. Other people might find it funny. The same as his gypsy joke, which is subjective. Now, all of a sudden, people are coming out the woodwork saying, oh, gypsies are the most persecuted people on the planet, as I will show you later, but they're not. They're really not. I know not quite a few, but one or two real Romani travellers, as they like to be addressed. They're decent people. They leave people alone. They get on with their lives, and that's that. What's wrong with that? But there is another side to this community, and to be honest with you, without going into any detail, they don't do themselves any favours. But I'll leave it at that. So Jimmy Carr's joke about the gypsies on his show on Netflix was a bit spicy. And that's that. He's made plenty of jokes about people like me, etc. But what am I going to do? Am I going to waste my time writing an email or a letter and say, oh, cancel him? Or do a Fathers for Justice and stop the traffic on the M25 because he's offended me? No, because I'm not like that. And if you do stuff like that, unless you're from Fathers for Justice, because I understand what you guys are going through, then what can I say? So anyway, a far-left extremist group called Hope Not Hate have waded into this. If you don't know who Hope Not Hate are, they're on Twitter. They basically ruin lives, get people sacked. They've come after Tommy Robinson on a fair few occasions. They're after him again because they're not convinced that he's bankrupt. Make of that what you will, but they're not scared of ruining normal working class people's lives for having the wrong opinion. All right, they're that sort of people. They are the modern day version of the Stasi, KGB, the SS, whatever you want to call them. People who want to oppress people for wrongthink. And so they've waded into this row with Jimmy Carr and Netflix, and they tweeted this. Today we wrote to Netflix UK to express our disappointment at their silence in light of Jimmy Carr's joke that celebrates the death of hundreds of thousands of Roma and Sinti people. Just as Carr must be answerable for his actions, so Netflix must be answerable for theirs. Dun, dun, dun. What an ominous email that is. It really is. And for the record, Jimmy Carr's joke didn't celebrate the death of gypsies at the hands of the Nazis. It was a joke. You know, he said it was a positive. It was just a joke. It was a joke. It's a joke for people with sick sense of humour. Squaddies would get it. People in the services would get it because they need a black, sick sense of humour to get through their days and what they do and what they see and what they deal with. So people like that would understand. And Jimmy Carr has a right to do that joke. That joke will not incite anyone to go and look into the streets, look for gypsies and kill them. We won't do that. But why the hell should he be answerable for that? For heaven's sake, it's words. They are hurty words if you choose them to be. They really are. This is the world we're living now, folks. It's a world where it's a shitty time to be someone decent, conservative, white, British, patriotic, pro-Western. Politically, it really is. All right, we're at the pinnacle of technology at the moment. But people get arrested for wrongthink, for saying the wrong thing, for displeasing others. It's happening in Scotland now with this crappy hate speech law, thanks to Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP party, who are just ruining the lives of Scots up and down that country. Just look at what's going on up there. It's horrible. But as I just shown you in that email by Hate Not Hope, let's call it for what it is. They want him punished, basically, and cancelled. They want Netflix to get rid of him. So they sent this open letter, which I'm going to read to you. It's quite lengthy, but we'll break it down anyway. Here goes. Dear Netflix UK, last year, Hope Not Hate was approached by Netflix to discuss the forthcoming documentary, Nail Bomber Manhunt. I watched that. That was an excellent documentary, by the way. In the course of our dialogue, your team made repeated references to their personal pride in a film with such a strong social message having been produced. This enthusiasm and desire to promote such a positive message of cohesion convinced us to do everything we could to promote the documentary to our supporters and the general public. Basically, Hope Not Hate gave their tick of approval, so they were willing to promote it because they liked it. They don't care that this documentary could offend anyone else, but as long as Hope Not Hate or Hate Not Hope like it, it's fine. I undertook several media interviews on behalf of Netflix, and we heavily advertised the film on our social media channels. Told you. Hope Not Hate was proud to share your desire to show how hope can triumph over hate. A year on, the memory of our collaboration leaves me with a bitter taste. Broadcasting a comedy, inverted brackets, show by Jimmy Carr that makes a joke out of the Roma and Gypsies killed in the Holocaust is reprehensible. That's because the person writing this email on behalf of Hate Not Hope has chosen for it to be reprehensible. They could have just ignored it and taken it for what it was, a joke. Anyway, it goes on. It also demonstrates a grave error of judgment on the part of Netflix in allowing this sketch to be aired. Basically, how dare Netflix show something which we disagree with on your own private company platform? We totally accept that comedy can be both subjective and edgy. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you accepted that comedy was subjective, and comedy can be edgy, it doesn't need to be, but it is. But if Hope Not Hate, the person writing this bile, agreed that comedy was subjective, this letter wouldn't have been written, nor would the email, and neither would they be trying to cancel Jimmy Carr. Indeed, some of the best comedy is when comedians transmit a serious message about a difficult issue with humour, and the only people having difficulty with comedy these days are the left and organisations like Hope Not Hate. The supposed joke about the positives of gypsies being killed in the Holocaust was not one of these. Again, they've just contradicted themselves. They accepted that comedy can be subjective, but at the end of the paragraph, they don't. How pathetic. We also strongly believe in free speech. No, they don't. And people, including comedians, being able to say and do things that we might personally disagree with. But with freedoms comes responsibilities, and in any modern democratic society, there are lines that should not be crossed. A line was crossed here. Now, hang on. I doubt very much the person who wrote this, or anyone in Hope Not Hate, is a gypsy or had anything to do with gypsies being killed in the Holocaust. So they are choosing to take offence on behalf of a demographic that suffered that horrendous thing that happened to them during World War II. They're choosing to do this. They don't have to do this. It's ridiculous. I think David Baddiel's assessment of the joke is exactly right. And this person goes on to quote David Baddiel's assessment here. You can obviously tell a Holocaust joke that is cruel and inhumane and mean-spirited and racist. Or you can tell one that targets the oppressors or draws attention to the fundamental evil of it, or shines a light on the humanity of the victims. I said this every night during my Trolls, Not the Dolls tour as part of a bit arguing that it's not the subject matter of a joke that counts, it's the specifics of the individual joke. Clearly, Jimmy Carr's was the former. The person telling the joke and the audience receiving it are the ones who accept the subject matter. It doesn't have to be the specifics. Anything can make a person laugh. You can't dictate to someone what they should laugh at, which is what they're trying to do here. These fascists. Jimmy Carr has refused to apologise for his joke. I will give a bet now, 10 quid to anyone, that Jimmy Carr will eventually take the knee, apologise for this, because that's what people like him, successful people like him, who want to continue their careers, want to do in order not to get cancelled and to carry on being in the limelight. He will apologise, no doubt about it, and I'll put 10 quid on that. In fact, he has doubled down and has attempted to portray himself as an innocent victim of cancel culture, which he is. Many people are, including myself. This is total nonsense. He and his supporters have claimed that rather than insulting and mocking Roma and Gypsies, he was in fact trying to shine a spotlight on their marginalisation in history. If that was so, then surely he would have been disturbed by the laughter of the audience, rather than them gasping in shock at his distasteful joke. If that was so, then surely he would have been concerned about the reaction of every traveller and Holocaust organisation, which have universally come out and condemned him. Do you really think a gypsy on a traveller site, or on the side of a road, or parked in some playground somewhere, is going to give a shit what Jimmy Carr jokes about them? I don't think so. His refusal to accept the offence he has caused to the people he claims to have been promoting by his joke only adds insult to injury. Oh yeah, give the devil their due there. Jimmy Carr, when he doubled down, claiming that he was highlighting, that was a bit of a shitty apology to protect himself there. A bit of a weak one. Anyway, the letter continues. The Roma Gypsy traveller community suffer more racism and prejudice in society than any other minority group. To be honest, I don't think that's true, because if you look on left-wing social media sites, you will see things like Islamophobia, etc., trending all the time, and you have lefties on there saying it's always the poor Muslims who are the victims when there's another outrage. Islamophobia is a major pandemic here in the UK, in the West. People hate them so much, more than any other. But because they're trying to get Jimmy Carr cancelled, it's now appropriate for them to say, oh no, it's the Gypsies. They're the most persecuted, and they're not. Often perpetrated and reinforced by media portrayals of them as criminals and troublemakers. The fact that Jimmy Carr felt it was appropriate to make a joke out of hundreds of thousands of gypsies murdered in the Holocaust, and that his joke passed Netflix editorial process, is a reflection of the prejudice that exists and is ignored. A year ago, I felt proud to be working with Netflix. Now I'm deeply disappointed that I need to ask you to remove this racist and offensive clip immediately and offer a public apology for the hurt you have caused. Furthermore, I wish to invite you to a meeting with Hate Not Hope, the Traveller Movement and the Roma Support Group to discuss how comments like Jimmy Carr's affect Gypsy, Roma and Traveller communities, and how we can work together to frame them in a more positive light. While this situation has reopened old wounds for many of the GRT community, this is also a fantastic opportunity for learning, and one that we wish to harness. Yours sincerely, Nick Lowles, CEO, Hate Not Hope. Well, like I said earlier, I don't think Nick Lowles is a member of any of these communities that have been hurt by this subjective joke. He and people like him have taken it upon themselves to be offended on behalf of a community they're not a part of. And because that community is a minority, then, tick boxes. We'll help you, we're your saviours. This is a pathetic letter. I hope Netflix scrunches it up and throws it in his face and tells him to fuck off and not to bother them again, and they'll put whatever the hell they want on their own platform, streaming platform, and sign a new deal with Jimmy Carr and invite even more edgier comedians onto the platform to joke about wherever the fuck they like, and see whether people like it or not. Simple as that. Cater for those who like your humour, not those who don't. Same with my channel. My channel caters for people who like what I talk about, believes in my ideals, share my thoughts. If you don't like what I'm saying or whatever, go somewhere else. Go to some fat Antifa slob's channel, whatever. Or, where they really spew hate and incite murder and violence. This isn't for you. Fuck off. Someplace else. You don't need to be here. You're going to somewhere, you're getting involved with something which has nothing to do with you. This isn't your party, all right? It's that simple. Jimmy Carr's humour isn't your party. Don't watch him. Simple as that. Hate Not Hope would do better for themselves if they targeted real hateful individuals, violent individuals, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Momentum. I'd back them if they did. They're the real problems in society today. My God, like I said earlier, I know 1, 2 or 3 real Roma people, travellers, and there is an aspect to that society which doesn't do themselves any favours, and it's only them that can do that can change all that. Not hope, not hate, or anything like that. How pathetic, how stupid. Anyway, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Join me on Getter, link is down below. If you wish to support my channel because I'm demonetized, then the link is also down below. And that's that. Comment, share, subscribe, and until my next video, enjoy your weekend. I'm off to work. And Roger Trout.